following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me, big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars, he'll dress.
Hey, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. Hope everybody is ready for Christmas. We're a weekend. What are we, like 9 days off from Christmas? And hope everybody's in the holiday spirit. We are. Look at Ron, how pretty he looks. So before we get started, let me introduce everybody and say hi to the chat room, starting off with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
How do you do? It's so nice to be here today. I flew in from Russia. Anyway, yes, we're getting into the holiday spirit. Christmas is here. We did a Hanukkah with friends, and whatever other holidays we're invited to, we're happy to go to their homes and celebrate whatever the holiday is. But mostly we love celebrating our holiday, which is Christmas, and we hope to keep it always Christmas. And not say we're not allowed to have Christmas, because that wouldn't be fine.
Everybody says you look gorgeous.
Thank you. I would be very upset if they took Christmas away from me. Anyway, enough of that jazz.
Let me say hi to everybody. So what's up, Pat Room? Chat room, Pat Room. I said
okay.
Pat Room because Pat Grant is in there from Canada. Hey,
That's
Pat, how you
okay.
doing?
Okay, when I get to be your age, I'll be just as senile as you are.
Backpack John is in the chat room. How you
Backpack.
doing?
Woo-woo.
We have Lady Lake Music. Cindy is in the chat room. We have Angela Joseph is in the chat room. We have
Angie baby.
We have B Claudia, and B Claudia is now the head of the Jimmy Ronsters fan club, worldwide fan club.
Oh, is that wonderful?
And
She's too much.
We have a Twitter, you guys. You can follow us at Jimmy Ronsters, JIMMYRONSTERS, and we're going to soon have a website and a Facebook page. And on the website, we're going to sell merchandise, Jimmy Star and Ron Russell merchandise, like your movies and shit too. We can sell on there.
Oh, please. My movies. I'm in them for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
That's
movies.
okay.
But I do
in our
have
comic book.
But I do have, and I won't mention the name, but I do have a movie coming up soon, as soon as they finish it and get it funded, where I'm the lead actor in the movie. So that'll be my first lead role in many years. And I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to do a lot for my work, because people will see that I can handle a full movie. And my character will be very interesting. I can assure you of that.
We also have Russell Emanuel. I think he's the director of that new movie Staycation that Angela Joseph is working on. So hello, Russell. Welcome to our chat room. And Pat Grant says she's having a blizzard in Canada, which I bet that means it's really freaking cold. Well, and Boomer Mays has joined us. What's up, Boomer? A professional football player.
Good. New York is supposed to get a blizzard, and I'm a little jealous because I loved being back there when I lived there, and it snowed around Christmas time. Oh my God, I remember snow on the window ledge and the Christmas tree and the lights blinking. It was just a trip, a holiday. And I also remember one Christmas when my children were little, we had to open the doors and the windows because it was so damn hot to let a cool breeze come in. It was like a 70-degree Christmas, and we were all so depressed.
Which is no fun. Teresa Sabin just joined us too. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Teresa's in Florida, so she's probably got good weather.
I didn't like Florida Christmases either. I mean, no, it's true. It's true. People would come in, and if it was breezy out, they'd blow the balls off my trees. You know, the ting-a-ling-a-ling from the hot air coming in. And we would all swim and go to the Boca Country Club and go to the pool and hang out there at Christmas time.
So B. Claudia says it's raining in Germany, and Pat Grant says you can't drive a car. You can only use a skidoo.
What's a skidoo?
It's like a snowmobile, I think.
Oh, that's
You can't get around in
fun.
a car.
You know what? A whole gang of us in January going skiing up to Big Bear. And I said, I don't ski. I mean, I used to ice skate, but of course I will never ice skate again because God forbid I fell, I'd break a hip. You know, at my age, 50, you break everything. So I will drive a snowmobile, ride a snowmobile.
I don't know if that's exactly what a skidoo is, but I
Well,
think that's kind of like what it is.
That I would do because that's kind of safe.
Yeah, Pat says yes.
If I fell off a snowmobile, I'm in snow.
It's
What's
so
gonna
much
happen?
fun.
Yeah, but I can't, and I'm a good ice skater. You know, I studied under Bobby Denard, who skated with Sonia Henney and Dick Button, and I knew all those people years and years ago from Ice Capades, the show Ice Capades, and also I met what's her name, the Dory Hamill, the camel. My friend Bobby Denard taught Dorothy Hamill the camel, which when she goes back and moves her arms, Bobby was very famous for teaching skaters to be feminine with their arms and to tell a story. I wonder if Bobby is still with us.
They said that she says that in Canada they don't they stop plowing the roads, and so the only way you can get around is in a snowmobile. I think that would be fun for like a couple of hours, and then I would be like ready to go.
Well, you know what? Plowing in the snow could be fun.
And the pig comes out.
No, I never. You are filthy. Your mind interprets everything I say into sex because you're a frustrated old maid.
I am not. So you guys, please follow Jimmy Ronsters on Twitter because
What's with the Ronsters? What is that? Like Linda Ronstadt? What am I?
Oh, like it's.
Ronsters. What's Ronsters?
I love it. It's Jimmy Ronsters, not because you have to make something that fits that has both of us in it. You know, you only get 14 letters.
Yeah, but Jimmy and Ron, fabulous. That
You
would
can't
work.
do that. No, you can't do it that way. That's not the name of a fan
Jimmy
class.
and Ron Star.
I
That's
love it.
good.
I think it's all right, you guys. We got 15 followers now, so let's go. We need to get some followers on Twitter, everybody. It's like awesome, and I'm retweeting everything now, so it's fabulous. So, and thanks so much, Beast, a superstar. We want to build this fan club up just like the Backstreet Boys have, or who do you like?
I like everybody.
Just what's the guy you like so much?
Johnny Mathis.
Yeah, like a Johnny Mathis
How
fan
could
club.
you forget Johnny Mathis?
I can't help it. I'm having a brain fart.
That's like forgetting your own name.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Mathis is the ultimate singer in the world. Meanwhile, Johnny Mathis is like 80 something and he's still doing not concerts, but he's doing TV, this kind of thing. What is this? Skyping stuff?
Yes.
And he's singing up a storm. The man's voice is not what it was when he was young, of course, because it changes as you get old, as mine has. I used to sing well. Now I sound like I don't know, a canary in a can. But anyway, Johnny Mathis' voice is still pretty good. Why? Because he never strained it. He never shouted. He didn't scream sing. He sung and was breathing properly. So if you hear Johnny Mathis, meanwhile, I'm going to contact Johnny Mathis's people, and I'm going to tell them that Johnny Mathis has got to listen to Adia.
Saida Garrett.
Saida Garrett's new song, I Wish You a Merry Christmas. I think Johnny should do the cover on that. It's definitely a Johnny Mathis song, and you must go listen to it. It's Saida.
There you go.
Saida Garrett and what's his name? Joseph?
Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And Ralph Johnson of Earth, Wind, and Fire. They have put out a Christmas song that is just absolutely gorgeous. I play it over and over and over again. It's a haunting melody. The lyrics are beautiful about snow on your nose and children and brightly packaged gifts. It's such an up song.
We have a really good one today too from Bill Champlin from Chicago. He has a great Christmas song.
Yeah, but we can't hear it.
I know.
This is we must really talk to YouTube or whoever it is. Who is it?
You can't talk to anybody.
Well, we got to talk to somebody because they're communists. They cannot block us from singing.
They don't want you making money from us.
We're not making money. These people are coming on our show to sell their song. How can we sell their song if nobody listens to it? It's ridiculous. Stupid YouTube. Get with it.
So anyway, hang on, because we want to say hi and make a couple highs real quick. Dave Hughes has joined us in the chat room. So has Rob Saw has joined us. Tina Davidson is in the chat room. Hello,
Hey,
Tina and
Tina.
Stefan. And well, it's filling up fast, you guys.
Dave Hughes, you cannot miss our Christmas show.
Yeah, Dave, I got all the
There'll
ladies
be
you like on
More
here.
tits and ass on our Christmas show than ever seen before. So you could really have a holiday. We've invited so many gorgeous, glamorous new movie stars that are all our friends.
So far, you guys, our Christmas show is going to be great. We've got Cindy Lady Lake coming on. We have Eileen coming on, Lorene Landon, Sadie Katz, Leon, Leland Sklar, Scott Page, Cece Hendricks, Cece Peniston, and we're working on more. It's going to be a great show.
A lot of stars are coming on, and you're going to see, and the girls are probably all trying to out cleavage each other. So Dave Hughes, get ready.
Yeah, Dave, you're going to love it. And so you guys, we have two guests today. We have Bill Champlin, formerly of Chicago, great artist.
Love Chicago.
And he's a great solo artist. I've been listening to his music for the last 3 days. It's phenomenal. Then we have Maddie Namer from the FMs, who we've had on several times before. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I guess we're going to bring Bill on now because I see he's in the chat room. So let's bring him on in.
Chicago, I can't sing any of their songs because you have to have a group.
Yeah. Hello.
You can't sing a
I
Chicago
can't either because I forgot all the words.
No, but you can't sing a Chicago song without backup. It's not possible.
Okay, so I Bill, before I introduce
I always
you,
walk down the street with a 3-piece horn section. It's just standard.
In your back pocket. Meanwhile, I love Chicago. I one of my favorite groups.
Hey
So
guys,
hold
how
on.
you doing?
good. How are
Good.
you? So before I introduce you, I have a question real quick because I went on your website. Everybody's website is BillChamplin.com, and on your website it says you have 2 Grammys. And then I went to the Grammy site, and on the Grammy site it says you have 13 nominations and 3 wins. So is it 3 wins or 2 wins? Who's right?
No, I had 2 I have 2 actually, 1 nomination, a couple, and I don't know. I just got a R&B Song of the Year Writers Award for After the Love Is Gone in 1979 and Turn Your Love Around in 1981.
We actually had Earth, Wind and Fire, Ralph Johnson on last week, and then we had
Man,
2
Ralph's
other
cool.
Earth. We had Ralph on, we had Philip Bailey, and we had I forgot the other
we had
one.
Skyland.
Anyway, so hold on, let me make my official.
We have everybody.
Let me have my we love it. We love you guys. All right, so everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, 13 Grammy nominee, 3-time Grammy winner, Bill Champlin. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you? What's
awesome.
going on, you guys?
Let me introduce
Jimmy
you.
and Ron, I've heard a lot of things about you guys, and some of it's actually good.
Oh, see that?
Exactly your
I've
point,
always
man.
said that. I've always said from bad comes good.
There you go.
So this is
well,
my.
Ron, you got that one figured out. Thank you. I'm going to use that from here on in.
I actually
Hey, man, you
told
can
him.
do that right. Well, it's going to be good eventually. It'll be
That's
right
right.
sooner or later.
So I actually told him we have 4.5 million viewers that'll be
Viewers.
watching today when we did our little test earlier, and he said, "Do I owe any of them money?"
Just checking.
So Bill, we have a chat
Wait a
room.
minute. Not only do you sing, but you're a comic. I like that. You're a double.
Out of 4.5 million people, I got to owe somebody something.
So we have a chat room filled up with tons of people right now. We have it looks like Australia, the UK, Canada, Germany, the United States in the chat room. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello.
And then we have a brand new fan club that just got started today, and our fan club president is B Claudia. So just say hi to B in the chat room.
Who? Claudia?
B Claudia.
Be Claudia. in
B.
Germany.
Claudia.
Yeah.
B. Claudia. What it be? What's happening?
There you go. She's in Germany.
That's where it came from. What it be, Claudia?
She's one of the biggest supporters of all of our guests. I mean, she really goes way out. Why
Great.
am I losing my voice? I'm 80 years old. My voice is going. I'm getting like a grandpa voice. I used to have a very husky voice. Now I sound like I'm choking. No, when you get old, your voice goes. Did you know that? I used to
Well,
sing.
no. They've told me that was going to happen, but I mean, I don't know. Listen to the album. Tell me if it's gone.
We're not,
Actually,
Sounds-
no.
we're not allowed.
It's not. No, we can't listen to it on air. But I have
We're not
been listening
allowed.
to Bill Champlin music, first of all, Chicago and Bill Champlin music for the last 3 days, knowing that you were coming on the show. So first of all, everybody, you gotta, and we're gonna talk about your new album in a minute. But everybody has to go to Spotify. Don't plug in Chicago. Plug in Bill Champlin, and all his solo stuff comes up. And listen to it on Spotify. And I have to tell you, because these are my 2 favorites, just to let you know, of all the songs that were on there. One of them is called "Gotta Get Back to Love," which actually you sound so phenomenal on, and another one's called Tonight Tonight. So everybody needs to go listen to all the songs, but those are the two Jimmy Star picks.
Do you go through?
Right.
Do you go through?
Those were all on. Those were on. I think on my first 2 solo albums. No, they were on my second solo album. They were on the Runaway
They're
album.
phenomenal
So
songs.
when-
Back in Love was, actually, I didn't write that one. I just sang it. Tom Kelly and another guy, and I forget the other guy's name, but Tom Kelly was one of the writers. Tom's major writer, and a really good singer too.
Everybody you work with is
Now,
major.
now, when you sing, do you go through filters and machinery to sound better? Because that's what everybody's doing nowadays. I mean, maybe if I sang through, I sing like Peggy Lee, but maybe if I went through equipment, I would sound like a man. But, seriously, do you? No, it's true. Do
Peggy
you,
Lee had a pretty cool set of pipes, man. She could sing
I
really
had-
well.
I had that very whispery voice like she did. And when I sang, I remember rehearsing one time in my house and the doorbell rang. Wait, we'll go there later. And the doorbell rang and I went to the door and a parcel man brought a parcel and he said, "Who is that singing? She's got a great voice." And it was me singing. So I just thanked him and closed the door.
No, Ron impersonated Jane Russell,
For years.
the movie star Jane Russell, who he actually became really good friends
Best-
with later
best
in life.
friends.
But he impersonated her in straight clubs back in the 60s and 70s, right? 60s
Oh,
and 70s.
60s, 70s, and 80s. And
Yes.
then I became 100.
So he sang in like a woman's voice, and he actually sang, not like drag queens do today.
No, I sang
You know,
live.
he actually sang in
I
his
never,
own voice.
I never lip synced a record. Never.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah,
the,
if you have the enough music to get in tune and sing a song, like, go for it. Why bother? I mean, it's like the TV show Lip Sync, all this lip sync stuff.
He hates it.
I hate it. I call it lip. I call it lip stink.
Yeah,
Don't
he can't
forget, back
stand
in
it.
the
Yeah.
back in the 60s and 70s, drag queens had, or female impersonators had to compete with hippies. Now, how do you compete with a hippie that's so way out and spangled and whatever? So, if you didn't have talent, if you weren't a dancer, a stripper, a singer, or some
Stripper.
no, stripper. No. Some of my best friends were strippers, and men could not believe that those strippers were men. And I had a bunch of rough guys from Brooklyn that came to one of our shows, and these are real, wise guys. And one of our girls was working, and he'd say, I would bawl that. I don't give a crap what it is. He said, she's beautiful.
Actually,
I was bald a couple of years ago. I was doing chemo I had a little run with cancer. I was doing chemo, and man, it's 4 days after my first chemo, I went like this, just to scratch my head or something. My hand looked like a mitten. I mean, when it came out, it came out quick. It was over with.
so we have
So
Dave-
what? You put a wig on and you did drag?
Yeah, for a little while.
No, Dave Hughes is in the chat room. He's in the UK. He said that you sung the TV show hit tune for In the Heat of the Night, and he loved that show. Actually, you've done so much stuff. Like I don't think before I started researching you, I knew you were accomplished because you were with Chicago, but I had no idea actually you have so many accolades that have nothing to do with Chicago, and they're huge accolades. So congratulations, number one, on a phenomenal career. Number two, just to brag a little bit for you guys. So you guys, 3 big hits of Chicago: Hard Habit to Break, Look Away, and I Don't Want to Live Without Your Love. You did lead vocals on those. Like I said on the Grammy
Well, on
website.
Hard Habit to Break, it was a duet with Peter Cetera, who's
Yes.
got one of the finest voices in the history of the world.
Yes, he does. He's one
Really,
of my
I mean, you hear 3 notes from Peter, and you know who it is. He's one of those guys.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Actually,
got-
though, you have that going on too when you sing. Because I was listening, and after I started listening to all your solo stuff, I was like, what a recognizable voice. So I think everybody's gonna love the new album. Which you guys, he has a brand new album. It's coming out.
I want to interrupt. The greatest singers of our time, Bing Crosby, we knew immediately. Frank Sinatra, immediately. Dean Martin, immediately. Johnny Mathis, immediately. So, if
Tony
the voice-
Bennett still slamming.
Tony is still
In his
banging.
90s,
It out.
I think.
He's 150 and he's still banging it out. So no, really, Tony's way old. I'm 80. He's way older than I am. I mean, Tony Bennett, he's got to be up near 90, and
He's around 90 or at late 80s at the very least. And I don't know if anybody knows that, he's a really accomplished painter.
I know that because you know why
He
had
painted
a-
my house one time. It was double scale.
no. I met
Tony's probably going to get all over me. Shut up, Champ. What do you mean?
I met Tony Bennett about 100 years ago because they came from off of Steinway Street in Astoria, he and his brother John. And I met them. And I worked for John Bennett when John Bennett opened a beauty salon on Broadway in Astoria, Queens. And it was the John Bennett Beauty Salon. And I worked there, but I got fired because my mother, who was a socialist, said there's no unions there. And she went outside and started picketing my beauty parlor and wouldn't let my clients in. And John Bennett said, "Who's that crazy bitch out there that's telling people don't break the scab, don't be a scab, don't break the line?"
That's a classic example of caught between a rock and a hard place.
Wait a minute. I said that crazy bitch is my mother. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, well, go and take your mother home and don't come back.
I hear you talking.
No, it's
that
true.
must have felt like, what do I do now?
No, I knew my mother's political beliefs. She fought for unions always. My father was a union delegate. So, of course, how do you put
Hey, I'm a
union?
member of 3 unions. I'm not really sure why anymore, but for some reason, I'm in AFTRA, I'm in SAG, and I'm in Musicians Union.
You have to be if you're going to be in the biz.
Well, AFTRA was actually what we used to do when we were doing vocal dates. We would file all the stuff through AFTRA, which is American Federation of Television and Radio Artists.
Exactly.
And then they merged with SAG, which
SAG,
is Screen Actors Guild. So now it's after SAG. So it's kind of one union, sort of, but there's one union with 2 different sides. So, God, forget about it. And Musicians Union, which reminds me, I got to send them a check for next year's dues.
Yeah, don't you love that?
So hang on.
Dues for 3 unions. Like, wow, that's great. Now I'm broke because I stayed member of.
No, the unions are good as long as you're working, but SAG, I know SAG is a lot of money if we're not working. And Jimmy and I really don't make a lot of money. So SAG costs us more than we earn.
Yeah.
So hold on. Here's something cool.
What's the point?
So here's something that Ron will like about you that I took off of your Wikipedia. I hope the information is correct. You have so many accolades. I was so impressed. I would loved it, but
Wikipedia's got it. It's kind of 50-50. Sometimes they get them right. Sometimes they don't.
Okay, but did you actually do "Last Broken Heart" for Miami Vice, and it's a duet with Patti LaBelle? Because that's like Ron's favorite. We spent last week talking to her. We had Saida Garrett and Ralph Johnson.
The last unbroken heart. With
Last Unbroken Heart.
Excuse me, I must get down on the ground now and kneel and worship you. You co-sang with Patti?
Oh yeah.
Go away. I hate you. I'll never want to speak to you again. Get off
And I met her 3 years later, just by mistake. 'Cause we did our vocals at different times. It was at Jay Graydon's studio.
Is she not the nicest woman in the world? Is she not the kindest, sweetest woman in the world?
Well, he only met her 3 years later, so he didn't know.
Well, he sang with her. What
amazing, or I don't know about now, but when I met her, she had her own tour bus. It was at I think we were in Dearborn's when I met her. Somebody says, "Hey, there's somebody you know down here." I said, "Who's that?" It's Patti LaBelle. I came running out of my room, came downstairs and met her. And she was cooking Italian food in her tour bus.
I love it. I love it.
And it was as good as any Italian food I've ever had ever. She's a monstrous Italian cook. It's funny. You don't look Italian, but she was a sweetie pie.
No, she could look Sicilian, but no, she really she cooks everything. She bakes. You ever have her pies? Her cobble pie. It weighs about 8 pounds.
They sell it at Walmart. It's awesome.
Patti LaBelle is an incredible cook. I am so thrilled to know that. What song did you sing with Patti?
Last Unbroken Heart.
Yeah, it was on the Miami Vice 2 album.
Do I know that song?
I don't know. We're going to listen to it after the show so we can hear it.
I'm definitely going to listen to it.
I love it.
It's a really good song. It was written by Jay Gruska, Paul Gordon, and actually Joseph Williams.
I love it.
Joseph Williams is the lead singer the tenor singer in Toto now.
Oh yes.
Wait, is it as good as On My Own?
It's just another song. On My Own was really, really cool, and they didn't meet until a couple of years after they did the record because they were both on different coasts. Michael and Patti. I know I work with Michael a little more regularly. And what a sweetie pie that guy is, Michael McDonald.
I could tell. We love him. We love his voice. We love his. Yeah. He's got a raspy voice.
Are you? Hang on. Are you on a laptop or a desktop?
I'm on a laptop.
Can you like fold it down a little bit? We keep losing your chin. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Oh,
I got
no,
a
that's
couple
a
of them. Which one would you like?
There you go.
Pick.
You know who he reminds me
Oh,
of?
somebody said, man, that guy's got more chins than a Chinese phone book.
Wait, did anybody ever tell you look sort of like Peter O'Toole?
I've been hearing that since I was a kid.
I get Tony Curtis forever since a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, I can see that.
But Peter O'Toole, yeah, you resemble Peter O'Toole.
He was a cool boy. There was a guy that knew how to lift a glass and empty it. From what I understand, he hung out with Richard Burton and all those other crazies, and they were all pretty
Drunk.
serious drunks at some level.
No, Peter O'Toole, they really had to lock up before they shot a film because he would come on set sometimes polluted where he couldn't even function.
Yeah.
So they had to bring him in the dressing room hours before the shot to make sure he was sober. Imagine, yeah, they imprisoned him. I'm
Yeah.
not lying.
Do you want to do this or don't you? It's
I don't
kind of
I love it.
the whole drinking thing for me. It's just been so many years since I stopped because I'd already reached my quota. God gives you a certain amount, and wherever you were at, however old you are, when you've reached that quota, it's over at that point in the game. So I bailed in '85. I think I stopped drinking a long time ago.
Good for you.
Yeah, but
Wow, and that was like in the height of your like, oh my God, I'm a superstar.
Wait, I want to get.
Well, I don't. Superstar didn't really mean much to me. I've always been. It's like somebody was saying the other day. What's the coolest thing you ever did? What best show you ever played? I said I remember playing a We the People concert in I think it was '86 in Philadelphia, right at the bottom of those stairs that Rocky ran up.
Yeah. We used to
turned
live
around,
there.
Yeah, we
and
went
then
up
there's a
there.
park. They set up a big scaffolding stage. There were 500,000 people at this gig.
Oh yeah.
And Grover Washington Jr. was opening for us, and everybody, the guys, oh man, we played for 500,000 people, and I managed to pull it off to where we got Grover to sit in on a song with us. So I had him right next to me, and I was going, well, yeah, I know there was 500,000 people, but I was playing with Grover Washington Jr. That's the thing I remember about the gig was Grover's tone was so beautiful. It was like great to. So the rock star thing didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Musician, another story.
There you go.
Okay, now listen.
Kind of what I'm trying to bring to the ball game.
This is a boring question, and it's stupid. Not stupid. It's a good question, but boring. But I'm going to ask you anyway. How did Chicago come about? How did you become Chicago?
Well, they had a member of the band who passed away. It was a guitar player, and right after that, a couple of days after that, I got a call from their management, who I was working with for my solo projects, and they said, "Hey, Terry Kath has passed away." I said, "Whoa, not so good." He said, "We have you want to take a shot at the gig?" And I thought it was just a guitar gig. Now I do play guitar and I solo, but not all night. And there's no way I could fit into that guy's shoes. Terry Kath was an innovator and one of the most monstrous guitar players. I could sing his stuff, the songs that he sang, like Make Me Smile, Color My World, so on. But I didn't understand that they could get a sideman to really play the guitar stuff. What they needed was the guitarist. Now, 3 or 4 years later, I was working with Danny Serafin, and he was producing something for a mutual friend of ours named Angelo, and he said, Angelo called me and said, "Could you come in and do some backgrounds?" And I was right in the middle of doing Lee Rittenauer's album, the Rit album, which I have another song on that called "Is It You," which was kind of a big hit. I did all the backgrounds on that one, but. I was really tired. I'd been in the studio until God knows when all. And he says, "I can't pay you anything. It's just off the cuff." But, I'd worked for him before, years before. And he said, I said, well, I kind of copped an attitude. I said, "Man, I got a really bad cold," which I kind of did. And he said, Pete said the same thing. I said, "Pete? Who's Pete?" He said, "Peter Cetera, but he's going to come in anyway." I said, "I'll be there. Where's the studio?" I mean, so we worked up some background parts in kind of real quietly in the booth, and went out and slammed him on the mic. And we looked in the studio, and everybody's jaw was on the floor. They went, "Whoa, what a blend! These guys blend great together." So, within about a week, I got a call from Danny Serafin and said, "Dude, you want to join the band?" I said, "Well, I'm not really a side man. I don't really want to do this." He said, No, we want you as a full member of the band."
There you
And I kind
go.
of went, I mean, I just had a record out, but I realized that the guy who signed me, the Runaway album, that actually contains those two tunes you were talking about
I love
earlier.
them.
Yeah. That Runaway album was just coming out, but the guy who signed that album was Joe Smith, and he'd left the company. So there was really nobody there to support the record that was about to come out. So I kind of went, yeah, I think so. I'll take the gig. And so I went and met with the guys, and everybody was, one guy was saying, hey, man, we got to remember this is a family. And I went, well, it might be your family. For me, it's a musical project. And Satara went, there we go. That's talking. We're in. You're in the band. I mean, it just ended up falling into it. And I ended up staying in there, I think, probably quite a few
28
years
years.
longer. Pardon me?
What was
28 years, right?
28 years, yeah.
yeah, what was the first song that you sang with Chicago that was a hit?
Oh, I'd say probably "Hard Habit to Break," and we did it as a duet with both me and Peter singing.
I love
and
it.
then a lot of background vocals with a lot of different cats, but the first really big hit I had with those guys, it was really me singing. It was a song called "Look Away." It's still one of the bigger
Great
hits.
song, Look Away. Look Away is a
It was
fabulous.
quite a few years later, and it's a Diane Warren song. Diane is just she. I think it was one of her first big power ballads.
I love the power ballads and the
Yeah,
fact
but you know
that you
that
sing
song.
them.
That song plays today. It's not called old fashioned at all. It plays well with today.
Yeah. I mean,
I love it.
You know, most of
I still
Chicago's
do it
music.
too.
No,
Definitely.
a lot of groups.
But "Hard Habit to Break" is probably one of Foster's coolest arrangements. I mean, I listen to it now and I still go, whoa, this thing's a piece of work. And that was a Steve Kipner song.
Yeah, but you haven't, because your voice hasn't aged. Like you haven't aged, because your voice. Because I listened to all your solo stuff, and I actually had a private link to listen to your new album that's coming out in January.
Yeah.
The new album is called "Living for Love." The single is called "Reason to Believe." I think the single comes out at the beginning of January, and the album later on in January.
Yeah. It's going to be the Hangover release.
And then you guys, he's got for Christmas, because Christmas is out. I didn't know you had a Christmas song until right before we came on the show. I listened to it. It's called "The Best Day of the Year," and it is fabulous.
Franklin McKay is the writer and background singer and producer of that song, and I'm a friend of his. He lives in Toronto, and he's just a really cool guy, very talented young man. And he called me and he said, "Hey man, you want to sing this?" I said, "Sure, I'll give it a shot." I forgot that I'd done it. We did it last spring.
Hang on a second, Jimmy.
Yes.
If he played that song in his home, they can't throw it off they can't kick us off the air.
Yeah, they can.
No, if he played
No, only if he sings it live.
No. If he played his Christmas song right now, and we heard it, they cannot say we played it.
Doesn't make any difference. He's part of our.
But it's
thing.
his song. He has a right.
It doesn't
Listen, it's his.
Here's
song.
the thing. He doesn't understand.
Quiet.
It doesn't work. I know.
Listen, frig YouTube. We could screw them maybe.
No.
Listen, if he wants to sing he has permission to do whatever he wants on our show. We're unscripted and uncensored. If he wants to just play that song,
He can't.
he can. It's his friggin'
It doesn't make
song.
any difference. We got
Well,
No,
the
you-
Christmas
here's-
song,
here's-
I don't even have a copy of the Christmas song. I have
No.
a
I'm just
rough
saying.
mix that I made, but
You know, we
the final
talk.
copy I don't have, and the rest of the stuff is all. If I went to go to get it on my laptop, I'd lose you guys.
No, it's.
So I know-
I know that.
I know.
One thing I don't want to do is, if it works, don't fix it. That's the
Here's
story.
the whole thing,
No,
which
but
Ron
what-
hasn't
no,
explained
no.
to you.
What I feel that is so bad about all of this is you're kind enough to come on our show. And the least we could do is thank you by showing the world or listening your music. Now we're not able to do that. And that pisses me off. We really have got to get down to the bottom of this and tell YouTube if the person is the singer.
Doesn't
the
make any
owner-
difference.
Shut up. I'm going to punch you with this mic. 1 minute. Ever see
This is
Ever
great.
see a co-host get beat up with a mic? Watch. 2 more minutes, he's gone. We have to get to the bottom of this because I want to.
There's no rights.
I want to. He's got the right.
It doesn't make any difference if he's got the right. Here's what happened.
Oh, I
Okay.
don't wanna
Here's the thing. I know he wants to know because now you brought it up. So
Yeah.
for the first 12 years that we were on the air, anybody who came on, we could play a music video and it would play, or we could play their song with them sitting there, and it was no problem. And we broadcast
And we
everywhere.
sold millions of copies for the guest.
now, because we're broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, you're not allowed to do that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the R&B singer John B, but this is how we found out we can't do it. But
Yeah.
anyway, he's
Yeah.
sold millions of records, and he had a brand new hit that came out. I think that was at the beginning of this year. He had a brand new single, and we were playing his music video, and YouTube shut us down, meaning we lost the whole. They just cut us off and threw us off the air because we're not allowed to play it, even though it was his song. He owns it and everything. You're not allowed to play like the rights. Even
Well, listen to this. We have 4.5 million people that watch our show. Please, all of you, contact YouTube and tell them that you want to hear the music on our show. I think
1/4 cent.
yeah, unlike
Wow. don't
uh,
spend it all in one
it's
place.
like 15,000.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm ready for that card game we were talking about. Let's go, man. I'm packing right now. It's funny. I got a check for 5 cents the other day.
Oh, I got-
And I went, hey, man, I'm coming up in the world because a
No.
month before I got a check for 2 cents. It cost them probably $2 in secretarial fees and postage and so on and so
Right.
forth to send me 2 cents. It's like, it just
I
didn't
got.
make any
I
sense.
think,
you know?
I think I got a nickel once because when I was on Charlie's Angels, a TV show about 30,000 years ago. And my last thing I think I got was like 4 cents or something.
Yeah.
So I put it in the bank hoping it would make interest.
So I want to say to you, okay, so
Good thinking, man. I never thought of that. Let me put it in the bank.
Oh, you froze. That's great.
Usually I just hang them up, take a magnet, stick them up on the refrigerator to remind myself how big I am.
that's hilarious.
Exactly.
So you guys,
Yeah,
Bill
so
has a,
successful. You just made 2 cents.
yeah. Bill has an incredible musical family, you guys. So he works with. How do I pronounce your wife's name? Is it Tamara or Tamara? Tamara. So he has and she's gorgeous, by the way. I googled her. She's absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a lot of work together.
On Earth, as
And
far
then-
as I'm
and then-
concerned, anyway.
If you guys went to, we met your son Will at the Think Experience thing at NAMM,
Mhm.
and we work with Scott Page and all those Think
Right.
Experience people
I
all
love
the time.
that experience.
And so your son is also a phenomenal musician, and everybody, I don't know
he
if
was he was a nice guy.
and he was on The Voice, you guys. I think he came in like 3rd place or something on The Voice. Which
Yeah,
I don't-
he was one of the finalists. Yeah.
he was phenomenal. So
Season 5, I think, is what it was.
season 5, so that was phenomenal. And so you have a whole musical family. Now, did your wife work with you on the new album that's coming out?
Absolutely. She and I co-wrote along with Bruce Geitch, who sent us the track for that. Like, we're talking about the single now. Reason to Believe. The track was sent to me by Bruce Geitch, who's a guitar player. He's worked a lot with Richard Marx. He's co-written with Richard Marx. Shows up on a lot of things just as a guitarist. He's an insanely great guitar player. And Tamara and I, either just she or just both of us have written songs with him for 25 years. We've known him for a long time. And he's just said, I mentioned to him, I said, well, I'm thinking about doing a solo album. And he sent me this track. Just a track, just the group, without organ and without vocals or any melodies. And Tamara and I listened to the track, and we were, where's the pencil? Where's the paper? We got to write this. So we wrote it immediately. I got a hold of Bruce and send me the files so I can load this up and get it done. And then I went to my friend Carmen Grillo's house, where my Hammond organ lives there. It's a bigger studio than I don't have that big a room for it. And I put the organ on it, after we did all the vocals on it, and we mixed it and mastered it, and there you have it. It's really, really a great piece. And Tamara and I co-wrote it, and then on the vocals, it's me and Tamara doing the vocals. She's on a good portion of the album singing.
How did you meet her?
I met her at a club. Somebody called. It's a club in. There was a band playing. David Boroff, which was a really cool sax player, had a band on a regular Tuesday night band gig in Encino, California, at a club there, a place called Flying Jib. And he called me and says, "Hey, this girl's going to come sit in. You got to meet her. You got to listen to her sing." So I went and listened to her sing. I went, "Oh, wow!" And I just went up to her and said, "Wow,
wow.
let's get together. Let's just write something or do something or So eventually we were an item, and then we got married.
I love it.
We got married right, probably 10 minutes after I joined Chicago. Because I know the guys in the band. Some of the guys in the band were at the wedding.
I
And that
love
was
it.
in 1981.
Now, do you think that Chicago would have survived today in today's music as well as it did back then?
Hard to say. I think that when I joined, I know Danny said, "Do you think David Foster?" Because I just finished doing a solo album with David, and I'd worked with David a lot. And David Foster's he at the time he was kind of just coming on as a producer, just doing a lot of different things. And he said, "Do you think David would be a good producer for the band?" I said, "You bet your ass, he'd be great. You need to get in and rewrite a lot of stuff or start over, because David's not going to, he's such a great producer." And I think me, and this was in 81 or 82, I think me being in the ball game at that point of the game, and David being in the ball game, really brought him kind of up to what music was doing at the moment, and David and Peter hit a stride that couldn't quit. I mean, they were really writing good stuff. And I mean, it ended up just really happening. Now I couldn't tell you.
Do you listen to
Well,
music?
wait.
I've been gone for over 10 years, so I don't even know what they're doing.
My question is really a part two. Part two, what do you think of today's music?
Some of it's really good. It's the thing that I kind of miss in a lot of the singing is that it's all been auto-tuned or melodic. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the real feel that a vocal performance might have sometimes gets produced out of it. It's like you take the bark off the tree when you don't need to. And I think a lot of times you hear a really great vocal, but it's just been fooled with so much, you kind of lose what that guy is. That's why with this album, I did on my album this time, I did one thing that I really, I'm a kind of a well-known background arranger and producer. And a lot of times, I mean, for years, I'd do a background date and then knock off a lead real quick. And I made sure that I did not do that this time, that I did the backgrounds and then come back the next day and do the leads, because it's a different hat. You're wearing a different hat to make that work. And I wanted to try to get the lead vocals to speak to the, to really touch the listener, instead of just, hey, here's another really good professional vocalist.
And what do you think of rap?
Ron doesn't like it.
I don't care. For rap.
First time I heard a rap record, aside from some of the stuff James Brown did, which wasn't really rap, but he talked a lot. I kept thinking that the disc jockey was talking. I was waiting for the singer to come in.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. Anybody can talk.
And, I think it's a really cool art form. I saw a kid. A high school kid that my son knew when he was in high school came over to the house, and I just saw him just start flying, just off the top of his head, just started rapping, and really cool. I was very impressed because he was rhyming. Everything was together. It was all going in a certain direction. He had a chorus. I mean, it was cool. There was something very cool about it. I missed the melody.
Yeah, but you can't fall in love with rap music.
Oh, Ron likes
I like the drum parts.
You can't fall in love with rap.
I mean, there's a lot of music out there that I don't particularly dig, but if there's something in it I do dig, I pay attention.
So I have two things for you, though, then, because I've got somebody in the chat room wrote a question. They want to know if you worked on Saturday in the Park, so I guess that must be a Chicago song they like a lot.
Yeah, I love that song. Saturday in the Park.
Of course he knows it.
Not Bill, you banana.
I know it too.
No, it was one of their biggest songs. Are you kidding?
That's a Robert Lamb tune, and they recorded that and put it out long before I was in the band.
Okay, so he's not on that one.
I came into the band on the 16th album, so they had 15 albums before I even knew those guys.
Right.
Okay. So there's your answer to that one, Danny. And then
But Chicago had a different kind of harmonizing. There was a sound that they had that nobody else had. It was I don't know what it was, but I remember
in the early days they had their own sound. When I got in there, and actually right after Peter left, when Jason Sheff got in there, we started to kind of schutz up the background vocals, get the vocals to sound just a little hipper than the normal thing. I mean, the minute I heard Take Six, I went, well, so much for the triad.
I love Take Six.
There's a way to voice things out that to make them really kind of cool, really kind of more interesting. At least more interesting to keep my interest. You know what I mean? So it's just the same. It's kind of the same situation. There's always been good producers with Chicago at different times on different records. I think there's some points where, in terms of really going to radio, I think at some points in their career they've kind of lost their way a little bit. And I think that's one of the reasons David Foster was really good for the time. He might not have been good in the early 70s or late 60s, but he was really, really good for when he came in. I mean, it was a whole different sound.
Oh my God, he's so good
Do,
now
do
too.
you think the music of the 60s and 70s was the best?
I think there's a lot of great stuff in those, and what I was just speaking of before is a lot of the stuff now is it's produced one step too far. They clean things up. I mean, there's a friend of mine, actually Jason Sheff's working with a band in Nashville, and it's so good, but it's almost too good. I mean, I call it, hey, you going down to work on the perfect record?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Jimi Hendrix wasn't perfect. It was a little out of tune, a little out of time at times, but he sells more records in a week than he did in his whole life.
Well, there are just certain performers you can't put through the system, like who I love, the one that said she's never going to make a record again.
Oh, he likes Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks said, I'm never going to make a record again because they're pirating everything I do. Now I'm only going to do live performances,
which we can't do now.
which she
Stevie's
can't
singing
do.
quite well lately, by the way. She's
Yeah.
kicking.
Yes.
I know, but she refuses to go through a system, and her voice has really gotten very raspy. She had those polyps on her vocals and stuff. She had many surgeries, and it made her voice rough. And I love her voice, just like Tina Turner. Tina Turner doesn't have a voice; she's got a style, and her style is incredible.
Tina's always had a little bit of a raspy thing going, which I actually personally I like it.
Me too.
I think it's sexy.
What an artist she turned out to be. My God. I mean, I worked with her
Fabulous.
one time.
She's
Right
fabulous.
before
You
that,
worked.
Love
Wait,
Got
hang on.
Blues.
Stop. Hold your breath. You worked with her also?
Yeah, I was Olivia Newton-John was doing a TV special, and Lee Ritenour was doing the music for it. And Lee called me in to help out with the vocals, to put the vocals together. And they were doing a version of Heartache Tonight, the Eagles song. Gonna be a heartache tonight.
Yes.
That's and it was the singers were Tina Turner. Oh, wait a minute. Olivia Newton-John, Tina Turner, Tony Tennille, and Peaches from Peaches and Herb.
Oh, I love Peaches.
Oh, I love Peaches. Oh, I
Yeah.
love Peaches.
Well, we kind of had to duct tape her beads in her hair. She had some kind of cornrows with beads on it, and it was like getting in the microphone. It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Banging it.
Gonna have to pay her extra for a percussion double,
Right, but Tina Turner, my God.
But Tina
she's-
was great.
um,
She was just wonderful.
and,
Actually, the
she's
two
doing
singers I
great.
liked the most in that quartet was Tina and Olivia. Olivia's a great singer.
Yes.
Well, Tina is doing well, by the way. We thought we might have lost her a period back, and now I
Absolutely.
understand she's doing well. God bless Tina Turner.
Great,
Keep going, girl.
great.
Keep-
Yeah,
keep-
it looked like it was days away. It's kind of the way
Yeah,
things
but
were
no, she somehow is a fighter, and she's good. And we need,
Yeah.
all the guys.
What-
All the guys in the chat room are talking about how they all had a crush on Olivia Newton-John.
yeah,
Reese, we watched
Sweet,
Grease the other night.
really a sweet woman. I got along with her great. I wasn't scamming on trying to get in her pants like a lot of people were. I think she
Yeah,
kind of liked it. for
she's too bread.
She'd like that.
She's too bread and butter.
Sweet lady, very real person, very, very nice woman. I really enjoyed working with her a lot.
Right.
I worked with Donna Summer and did a lot of stuff on Donna Summer's record too. Donna was the one that said, "Bill, you're the best known unknown singer in the world."
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Donna,
I guess.
she did 3 great songs, and then she opened her mouth against gay people and lost a big audience. That was a big mistake.
Donna did.
Yeah, she became a Christian, and she decided to say that homosexuality was ungodly or something. And every gay guy and the women, all gay people went crazy, and they just said goodbye, Donna Summer. And she regretted that, because it was, you don't do politics or religion with the audience, you lose people. And I don't know why she
Well, I mean, like
thought
sports,
had-
everybody's doing politics, and if you do politics, if you show that you're on one side or the other, whether you are or not, and if you start spouting it, you're going to lose 50% of your audience.
Yep.
But she
Yep.
failed to realize that it was the gay people that made her. I mean, every gay bar. I mean, from Studio 54, where I went, Last Dance, they played at the end of the night. Well, never was the end of the night there, but it was 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning, they played Donna Summer's Last Dance, and every queen in the world would start screaming and running out there and stripping their clothes off and getting nuts from her. So the gay people made Donna Summers, and I
I
don't.
think in a lot of ways you're probably right at some point, but I mean, you know, a lot of times when you're born again Christians have a tendency to overshoot the load a little bit, you know, especially
I think so.
yeah, especially if it's in the South. Sometimes that it can be a little bit like really one-sided, and the wrong use of hairspray for my money. You know, I mean, I've written whole sides of albums going after TV preachers. It's like, you know, you might be talking about God, but you're using so much hairspray, you're messing up the ozone layer. You know?
I have a sister who said to me, "Why did you choose to be gay?" And I said, "Because I was bored." But anyway, you know, she's a born again Christian, and I haven't spoken to her in maybe 25 years.
Oh,
So
that's too
it is sad because my sister and I were very close growing up. But
Yeah.
the Lord, you know, through her condemns gay people, and that's it.
well. Whatever happened to tolerance?
There you go.
You don't have to
Actually,
believe
I have a
in
sister-
it.
Because I had
There
that
is no
too.
such thing as tolerance, not in politics today. Look at the
Not
hate-
anymore. That's
the
what I
hate-
mean. Where's the problem? What's the
There
problem?
is
What's the
none.
problem here? And you know, you start watching news, and all you're going to get is opinion. Remember the days when we were all watching Walter Cronkite, and Walter would go, "Man bites dog." He didn't tell you that the dog was a Democrat or a Republican, or the man.
Actual facts.
And then if they and right at the end of the show, there'd be like 4 or 5 minutes, and they do an opinion piece with Eric Severide. Remember that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Long ago. What happened to reading the news? I mean, if I want to know what's going on in the United States, I try to go to BBC News.
Yes.
I'm
That's
going to
a
get either, well, this means great for the left or this means great for the right, and I'm sick of the whole mess. I mean, come on, guys. And,
I
and
am
people-
also. You know what? I'm 80 years old, and I said it's no longer my world. This world belongs to the young. And if the young want to be socialistic, or if they want to be whatever they are, let them be it, because this is their world, and they have to function in it. Me, I'm on my way out, and people my age are on our way out. We've had our time, and in our time, we were civilized. And if we had a battle over Democrat Republican, it was never to the point of what it is today here in this country.
No.
So I live.
Although,
in,
you know, I read the really long book. McCullough wrote it. John Adams. I think they did a TV thing about it,
Yes.
and they were just as nasty to each other then. I mean, John Adams was a real close friend with Thomas Jefferson, and they didn't speak for like 40 years because they were both kind of on either different sides of the aisle, and you know, they finally had a couple of letters going back and forth the week that they passed away, because they both passed away the same week. It took them that long to go, well, I really love you, man. One of those kind of things.
yeah, but some of the dialogue between Biden and Trump really was nauseating for me to listen to, because these are men who are supposedly intelligent and righteous, and they're going to lead our country, and they would talking like kids, children, saying nasty things about each other. It's so unprofessional and so unpresidential. So I just don't look, and I don't care. I have no opinion. I didn't vote because I didn't like either one of them. So I just said, you know what? Let the kids do it. Let the young people make the world. It's their world.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. I mean, I have my own preferences about government and how it should be, and I just can really keep it to myself. I mean, my dad was a politician at one point. He didn't do well. He was a Republican, and he was just saying, man, you know, when I started to run for, I think he was running for state senator in California and U.S. Congress, but it was in Oakland where, you know, really the black vote was going to win everything, no matter what.
Right.
But you know, somebody had to run, so he went ahead and did it for him. He says, the minute I put my name in the hat, all of a sudden these guys came out of the woodwork that were pond scum. Consultants. Does the word consultants? I think there are too damn many consultants. I mean, come on. I don't think that monies for local elections. Look what's going on in Georgia right now. It's insane.
Yes.
There's so much money being put into this thing from outside of Georgia. I don't think there should be a law saying no monies for campaigns in any state without being generated in that state. And I think that would solve things. I mean, just in the last maybe 8 years, the amount of money going into campaigns is ridiculous. It used to be $1 million. You'd hear about it 4 or 5 months before there'd be stuff. But now, I mean, somebody gets in and they're already fighting it out over the next election 4 years down the line.
Yeah, well, some idiot wrote on my Facebook page a while back. He said, "Ron Russell, you are a privileged white person." So I wrote back, "Yes, I'm very privileged. I was born in Red Hook projects in Brooklyn. My parents were on welfare. I was very privileged. I lived in Astoria, Queens, in an old house that didn't have steam heat or hot water. I had to boil the water in a spaghetti pot, throw it in a bathtub, add some cold water, and take a bath in 2 inches of water. I was very privileged. But how about Trump and Biden? They're white privileged people, and how come you're not calling out them? Why do you pick on me? I mean, I don't have $600 billion like Biden does, or the $1 trillion that Trump has. So call
kind of $600 billion
people.
How does a guy who's been working for the government for regular, whatever since he was 21?
$178,000 a year.
Yeah, but we can't go there. We're going to get in trouble.
How does that turn into $600 million without selling?
They play Monopoly and they went, don't pass go.
So let's go out of this conversation. We get in trouble with politics.
We get in trouble.
We can go to religion next.
I want to make one final statement, and Bill, you're going to agree with me.
Yes, sir.
Some of the most wonderful, fabulous people that I truly do love are Black people. No one should generalize and base Black people as criminal. Yes, there are criminal Black people, but there are criminal white people and criminal Asian people and criminal every fucking people. So, but I mean, like, we have the most dearest, wonderful Black friends in the music business. Yeah. And I mean, I love them. Johnny Mathis is like my dearest.
Johnny Mathis is his favorite singer of all time.
Yeah, and I know.
How about this one for Friends in Love with Johnny Mathis and Dionne Warwick?
Love it. Yeah.
I co-wrote that song and was involved in the background vocals.
So you know Johnny also?
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a long time. We don't really hang out in the same circles. And I don't even know if he lives here. But we both grew up in San Francisco, Bay Area.
No, he lives up on Sunset Drive. I think if he's still his house his house went on fire a while back. He said something to me very interesting. I love it. He said Diana Ross built a house like right in front of his to block his view.
He froze.
Diana Ross and Johnny don't get along, I don't think. He froze. See that?
I don't. Hey, Bill, say something. Can we hear you? What happened?
They censored what he was saying.
No. Hey, Rebel, what happened to him? Maybe take him out and bring him back or something. There we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? He's coming back. I think we have he has a Wi-Fi problem, maybe. So what's up, chat room? I hope you guys are having fun. I can't pay attention because it's going so fast in the chat room, and there's so many things going on. He says, talk about food. I'm hungry. No, we're not talking about food. And there's so many things. It says I wrote he's frozen. Okay. Anyway, you guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Bill Champlin is a superstar in his own right.
I hope they didn't censor us like they do in Russia, communism stuff. I'm scared stiff.
They say they love your sweater.
Yeah, it's not a sweater. It's a cotton
cardigan.
Sweater, I believe, is crocheted or knit wool or some crap. Anyway, yeah, it's cold. It's chilly in here. We have the AC on because of the hot lights, and I get chilly. It's very cold in Palm Springs. It's like 50, which is cold for us.
Hey.
Bill, what happened?
Okay, jump back on. Okay, bye. That's funny. He was calling me. Keep talking.
Okay, so yeah, so it's cold here in Palm Springs. You know, the climate has changed. In the summertime, we get 120, and in the winter, we get 42, which is a big, big desert change. But if you know the desert's hot in the day but cold at night. And we like that in the summer months because we could sleep with a window open and without a blanket. But in the wintertime, you close the windows and you do blankets. And we put the heat on in this house many a night. It's cold here. So don't think that Palm Springs is like Florida. It is not. Our guest is really cool. He's really nice. Politics, everybody has their own opinion. And my opinion was, I don't know. I don't understand it. It's very difficult for me to understand what's going on because I've lived a different world. I lived 80 years in a world that's now changing. And change is difficult for older people because we're set in our ways. I mean, I still miss, my 1963 Thunderbird red convertible.
There you go.
I've had so many cars, and my Thunderbird just keeps coming back. It's the most wonderful car I've ever owned.
Hey, he's back.
I'm sorry about that. Since all these fires in California, somehow internet Wi-Fi just kind of stops and starts. And I got a 5G machine right outside of my house, which kind of, I don't even want to go into what that's about, but I still get real problems with Wi-Fi. So sorry, you guys.
That's okay.
I thought
so
I thought they censored you.
we had
it could be.
We actually had
There's a lot of times when they should.
we had Dionne Warwick on the show last year, which is very cool. And so
She's a sweet lady. I like
she was wonderful. She was flying all over the joint. I mean, she was having a good time.
We had a great time with her, though.
She was happy.
My light went out. So I have a question for you. Let's go.
Listen.
Think like we were talking before about the music today. Like, are there any artists today that you like? Oh my gosh, I really would like this person, or I listen to this person, or what kind of music? Like, if you were just sitting around, would you listen to?
Well, I hear an occasional song here and there. My wife Tamara kind of keeps a little more on top of what the new music's all about, and my son Will does also. I'm kind of locked into my own group. There's some cool stuff going on. There's a band called what is it called? Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
that singer has got iron pipes. I mean, I saw a show. It was about almost a 2-hour show on television, and this guy was right in the hard range, and he stayed right in tune on the case for the whole set. Really a good singer, in tune. It's not exactly my kind of music. I mean, in a lot of ways, you don't hear R&B the way it used to be. I'm a giant Stevie Wonder fan. Donny Hathaway, all the major cats. And I understand Stevie might be feeling better lately.
Yes, I heard that too.
Hey, I just want to remind you, while we got this Wi-Fi, that the digital release of this album is going to be probably mid-January. But if anybody's interested in CD, we're going to do that on our website. So it's BillChamplin.com/shop. And we're going to have that. Tamara's kind of getting that all together. Right now, the discs are being made at disc makers as we speak. So, and the cover on the CD is just ridiculous. It's a great artist. Actually, he paints. He lives in Maui, but he doesn't do dolphins. He doesn't do island art, which gets really old really quick. But he's as good as it gets. A guy named Vladimir Kush, and we saw a piece of work that he'd done. We actually bought the painting or bought the print and licensed it for the album cover. And it's just beautiful. I mean, somebody said, are you going to do an LP? And I'm going, man, just think of what the cover would look like then.
So one thing about that too, then you should tell people. So you guys, if you go to BillChamplin.com, you can buy a regular version. You can also get an autographed version, and he's got autographed versions of all other kinds of things that you can get on BillChamplin.com. And you can also follow him on Twitter. He's at Bill Champlin. It's BillChamplin, which you got to follow me back.
I got a Twitter account. I don't think I've ever been on it, but I know the guys that Imagine Records have been really, really cool. There's three of them. I mean, the owner basically is Bob Weingart. He's a monster. He's a wonderful guy. and Steve Nathan and Shauna O'Donnell. And Shauna's just one of this, she's burning, man. She's got me talking to a lot of people. We're really trying to make this record happen a little more than, I mean, I've done solo albums before, and I usually get a Japanese deal or a Swedish deal. But this is the first one that I've believed in enough to really go after and really try to make it happen.
I want to give a shout out to Shauna too, because Shauna set this interview up. So Shauna, thank you so much.
Oh, she's
You're
sweet.
fabulous. You're fabulous. So we want to thank you for that. So we're gonna run out of time. We have about 3 minutes left, 3 or 4 minutes. So let's say a bucket list.
Perfect amount of time to play a song.
Yeah. No, you have,
Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, well, don't piss me off because we can't.
Just yanking your chain.
so let's say a
I know that, but it's so fucking horrible. I can't deal with it. I'm gonna write YouTube. Somehow I'll find some son of a bitch somebody had to take it off, so they'll put it back on.
So anyway,
they have come down with one artist saying, "Hey, man, you can't do this," and then they turned around and went, "Well, wait a minute, we can't do this with anybody." I mean, I don't know how any of these rules come down. I don't know how any of these laws come down, but somehow, somewhere along the line, they came down. Like Lenny Bruce said, well, you got eat in area A, sleep in area B, throw a crap in area C, which was a great thing. He says, somebody threw a crap in area B, so consequently we have police.
Yeah, but Lenny Bruce put a few words in between those sentences. I loved Lenny Bruce.
Did you see Miss Mizell?
I loved him. I used to go see him all the time on Long Island at the San Souci Club on Long Island.
Yeah, I saw him at actually the off Broadway in San Francisco. I mean, I had a fake ID and the whole thing, and they arrested him. They arrested him 218 times or something.
Did you watch Miss Mizell?
I didn't need
fake. Doing shows and nobody touched him.
I didn't need fake ID. I was about 21 or 22.
What about Miss Do you ever see that show? I don't know. It's Miss Mizell on Amazon Prime.
No.
You have to watch it. It's about like
I've seen it. I haven't put it up.
You should totally watch. The first 2 seasons are excellent. Then it got a little shitty, but the first 2 seasons were excellent. And it was really
if I were doing a show, I mean, even The Sopranos, as great as that show was, after a little while, it was, well, let's jump the shark.
I know. I can't get past almost every show. After 2 seasons, I'm like kind of like done, even though they have like 10 seasons. Like it always gets boring to me after that.
There was one on Amazon Prime, and I forget the name of it always. But Billy Bob Thornton was in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Billy Bob, good old
Power
Billy Bob.
or something, or
something. I don't think it was Power. I can't remember what it was called, but
something like that. Yeah,
it was about a really kind of a crazed lawyer whose office is in a hotel next to a bar.
Yeah,
but he's really good. He knows his way around. So a couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons of that, I was like, yeah, that's good. And I think they just canceled him. They're not going to do it.
I met Billy Bob with Angelina Jolie, who used to be Angie Voigt, who grew up with my daughter Deirdre when we lived in Beverly Hills. And I ran into Angie, and he's much nicer looking in person. I was very impressed at how good looking he is in person. He doesn't film well, but he's a good looking guy.
Well, he's one of those actors that has a way of looking like anything they want him to look like. I mean, there's some female. I mean, Cate Blanchett's one of those. She can look absolutely gorgeous or look
or horrible. Betty Davis was that way. Betty could be a beast or pretty. She never was a beauty, but she was pretty.
And it's just I always look at that as being, well, that's a really good actor that can look like somebody else. I mean, I was watching. I'd seen the movie before, but I was watching Hoffa with Jack Nicholson.
Yes. Oh yeah, we saw that.
And man, he looked like it was Jimmy Hoffa. He studied him enough to really get all the mannerisms in the face and the haircut. They did the hair the same way. It was
Goliath.
Huh?
Bill, it was Goliath. It was Goliath.
Goliath. That was I like the show. Hey, and Billy Bob had a band for a while. He was on the road. He's a good singer.
Yeah.
Who freaked me out was the guy that played Winston Churchill. Oh my God, I had no idea.
John Oldham.
What's his name?
Gary Oldham.
And he played Winston. I swore it was Winston Churchill. The makeup, the rubber, whatever they put on his face, it was scary.
That's funny.
Today, an actor has to really be have many faces. You can't be the same because people just throw you aside.
Well, a few got to be who they are. You know what I mean? The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he's going to always be who he is,
Yeah, he's
no
always
matter
gonna
what movie he's in, and gets along with it great. But there's the guys that really knock me out. I mean, I look at Gene Hackman, man. He does comedy. I mean, God, was he great as Lex
Love
Luthor
Gene
in the Superman movies? And then he turns around and he's, there's just, and Gary Oldman is, he's a giant as
Yes.
far as I'm concerned. I mean, remember Sid and Nancy? That was Gary Oldman.
Yes.
Yep. No,
Yeah.
today, that's why most of the female stars change hair color in movies. They're redheads, they're blondes, they're brunettes because they want to bring a different look to the character. Years ago, Betty Davis played Betty Davis. Cary Grant played Cary Grant. They
Right.
never left their character. They were the same people in every film. But
Yeah.
now you have to be more, as the word is, diversified in acting as well. I'm an actor that does that. I played cops, priests, mafia guys, and I always change character. And look,
Yeah, and that's in a lot of ways it really shows off how good you are at this. You know what I mean?
well, no,
I mean,
it makes
I've
it
never
work.
been that much into acting or anything, but I mean, lately, first of all, we're locked down in
Right.
California more than just about anywhere. California, New York are just
We're in Palm
great.
Springs. We're in Palm Springs.
Oh, cool. But there's not much to do, so I ended up watching a lot of TV, watching a lot of movies and stuff like that, and it always just blows my mind. It's really cool to see somebody that looked like and acted and did a whole other person in the last movie you saw, and then you see him in this movie and you go, wow, that's a different guy.
The
I
best
just
one-
look at it as like listening to Miles Davis play a solo. I'm just going, this is the acting it's a major art form, and people do it really well.
The best job was Kelly, the newspaper reporter. That movie, what was it called?
Oh, Megan Kelly.
Megan Kelly.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron became Megan Kelly, the reporter. Have you seen that film?
No,
She
I
didn't
haven't.
look anything.
Oh,
You'd
you
love
must see it. It's politically correct. You will love it. You
Yeah.
must see that film. about
Charlize
what
Theron
happened.
is another one of those. She's really, really good. She did a Mad Max movie.
it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Who?
kind
Megan
of
Kelly?
bald. A lot of people went
Yeah,
out
so-
on it. It's not supposed to be a girl. Man,
Missing
she
an
was
arm.
Wait a
She
minute,
had
wait a
big
minute,
arms.
wait a minute. Wait,
great in
hold,
that film.
hold it again. Hold it. You met Charlize Theron?
No, he's just talking about a
Oh,
movie.
Oh, I
I
thought
just-
you met her. I
I'm
really
just a
hate
fan.
you.
I just like watching.
I hate you enough as it
Another
is.
movie
now.
she did was
Really.
Atomic Blonde. That's a whole other person than the person.
Great
Yeah.
soundtrack. We had James Faulkner plays like the boss guy, her boss guy in that, and he was a friend of ours who was on the show. And that movie, Atomic Blonde, had a great 80s soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I
A
love
lot of
movies with
Depeche Mode and stuff like that in there. It was really kind of cool.
Guardians of the Galaxy also
You know
has
what?
great 80s soundtracks.
I asked,
Yeah, tell me about it. Funny movie.
Yes.
I asked this question to a lot of the groups that come on from my era. Whatever happened to Country Joe and the Fish?
Well,
Remember-
Barry still
Whatever
plays a
happened
lot.
to
Barry
him?
Melton. That's I guess who they call the Fish. I don't know what Joe's up to, but Barry, I've actually played with Barry once or twice. He still works a lot.
I'm so
He's
happy
actually
to
a
hear that.
lawyer. He's an attorney. And,
Really?
but still a good musician, and I think he's a great guitar player. I mean, I get along.
I loved their music as a kid, as a middle-aged man. I enjoyed Country Joe and the Fish. It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun group.
Actually, hardly
I'm glad
a lot of
they-
people that
they-
come on don't know who they are. So
No, but I'm glad they're well. I'm glad they're still alive and well. That makes me feel
Yeah.
good.
No, Barry's doing well. I don't know what Joe's up to, but Barry's kicking ass. He's doing great.
Good boy. Good for him.
So do you have a bucket list like you've worked with? Because on your Wikipedia, you've basically worked or sung backup or written a song for like almost everybody. Is there anybody on a bucket list like, oh my gosh, there's like one person that I would really like to work with that I haven't had an opportunity to work with yet? Is there anybody? Do you have a bucket list of somebody that you think would be fun to work with that you haven't worked with?
I think most of them I have. I mean, I haven't worked directly with Stevie Wonder, but I've sung on numerous songs of his.
That's so cool.
You know, Lee Ritenour put out an album and had me do a version of "Isn't She Lovely," which was really and Foster arranged it and played on it, and both Procaros played on it, Mike and Jeff, both of whom are no longer with us.
Did you do anything on Lately? Lately's like my favorite Stevie Wonder song.
No, I didn't do anything on that. I haven't been on his records, but I've been on covers of his songs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just he's I don't know if I would ever work with him, but I certainly. I mean, there's a song on my album called "A Stevie Song," which it's about Stevie Wonder basically.
I
you know?
love it. In the chat room, In the chat room, they're asking, like, what do you think about like all the singing shows? I know your son was one of them, but in general, what do you think about like The Voice or American Idol or any of those shows? Is it something that you think is good for the industry or not so good?
Well, you know, a friend of mine was the producer and one of the judges on Swedish Idol and Swedish X Factor, and he said there's the music business is so devastated right now. It's the only way singers can get heard. It's the
Okay.
only way people can get any visibility. So in that sense, it's great. You know, I mean, there's been a handful of people that came mostly out of American Idol that were, you know, really, really good and still swinging hard, you know. Not quite so much with The Voice. The Voice was really good. The band on The Voice is smoking. Good band.
Yes.
And I think their production's, you know, in some ways even a little bit cooler than what American Idol is. But for the most part, when I before Will got on these things, I started going to see him once a week for how many weeks he was on. I'd look at it and I go, it's not about the winners, it's about the losers. That's what they're selling to the audience is watching somebody be, well, you're horrible. I mean, that's what, you know, what's his name? Simon Cowell. I mean, he had a way of just being so, what's the word for it? Just, they're not very polite on any level, you know, and he just
being a creep.
That's what people were watching to see.
Yes, if he was going to be a creep or not.
Negative. Listen, we get fans that say, I love when you and Jimmy fight. So every time Jimmy and I are on the air, we fight, but we're really not fighting. We just do it to make everybody happy. So, you know, fighting is in. You know, so listen, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a ridiculous, way out, insane question. Now it's going to floor you. What'd you think of Barbara Streisand's voice?
Oh, first time I heard her was before she was really well known. My mom was a big fan, and I think she'd just done some stuff on Broadway. And I think Barbara was the name of the album.
Yes,
and
that's right.
It's just insane. You know, it was just insane. I've worked for Barbara also. We worked together on one thing.
Yeah, she's a bitch. I heard. Is it true?
I wouldn't know that. I didn't, you know, I mean, there was one point this is sort of an inside joke. We had a background group to sing on some stuff. It was the Wet album that she did, right? It was right on the heels of that record that she did with Donna Summer, where they did Enough is Enough. And I think that was the title of the song. But, you know, Bobby Kimball was going to be in the background. It was going to be me, Tom Kelly, and Bobby Kimball. And Bobby was late for the session. And we were doing this sort of kind of a prelude of doing some nice background vocals on this prelude that Foster had written. It was mostly a piano-driven thing. And then boom, splish, splash, I was taking a bath. She did that song. So before Bobby showed up, I was going, I need 3 voices to do this. I don't have a lot of tracks. So I said, Barbara, you feel like singing backgrounds? And she said, sure. And she took her notes. Her intonation was great. Her stopping and starting the note. I mean, she's a very good musician.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she was great. And I said, hey, and at the time we had a joke about the name of our background group. We called ourselves the Drambuie Dildos, because we played it just sort of ended up being this funny thing. And I said, Barbara, you're an honorary member of the Drambuie Dildos. She didn't get it. And John Peters, when she was with John Peters, and both of them, you could see the hair on the back of her neck. Said, what'd you call me? I said, no. And David Foster's going, oh shit, what now? You and your mouth, you know. Well, and I explained to her, I said, actually, it was a compliment. This is a joke name we have for ourselves, you know. And she ended up being great. And at the end of it, she says, hey man, have Bill knock off a couple of raves on the end that I can rip, which I did. I just sang them in falsetto and banged off a few raves.
I love that.
Really a good singer. I think her version of Somewhere. The Leonard Bernstein.
Beautiful.
Oh, Foster killed it. She killed it. It was just gorgeous.
Lainie Kazan is a very dear friend of mine. You know who Lainie Kazan is? I
loved her singing.
She's even a better human being as an actress. Lainie told me, it's a public story, so I can say it. Lainie was Barbara's understudy in Funny Girl. And one night Barbara was ill and Lainey's mother went and called the press and said that Lainey was going to appear that night in Funny Girl. Well, Barbara got wind of it, and she went on, and Lainey looked like a jerk because all the press was there to review Lainey. So Lainey said to me, Barbara is just not a nice person. They don't care for each other. So I got a lot of Barbara Streisand stories from Lainey Kazan. Lainey will probably kill me.
Lainey Kazan was great. She was a great jazz singer for a
She's
long
fabulous.
time.
She still is. She's fabulous.
Yeah, she's fabulous.
And,
You
and
guys-
I loved her in Believe It or Not, Don't Mess with the Zohan. Did you ever see
Yes,
that
I
movie?
love that. I love that movie.
But wait,
Crazy
Lainey,
movie. And she
I
was
got
wonderful in that
Wait,
movie.
Very
wait,
funny.
Lainey Kazan has an album out, Body and Soul. And nobody has ever sung Body and Soul better than Lainey Kazan. I listen
Yeah,
to it
she's great.
constantly. And a great person. I love her to death.
So anyway,
Yeah, she's
hang
a
on, you guys.
sweetie. Seems like she's got a major sense of humor. It looks like she's a fun hang. You know what I mean?
She is very funny in person. She's got that Jewish Brooklyn humor, which I have, which is very given because if you're raised in Brooklyn, you have this wonderful accent. And Lainey is just one of the most super people in the world.
So anyway, Bill, we have to say goodbye because we have another
Yeah.
guest coming in. But we want everybody to first of all, you guys go to Bill
it's gonna be
Champlin.
like that, is it? Let me see. Let me
What
take.
is-
Oh no, I'm just yanking your
What a
chain.
nice
BillChamplin.com, you guys. The new album coming out is called Living for Love. The single that's coming out on the 1st is Reason to Believe. Please support him. He's fabulous. We want to thank you and congratulations on all your
and
success.
Thank you for visiting with us. It was
Thank
such
you
fun.
guys. It was fun hanging with you. You guys are out of your minds, and
Yeah.
just you know,
Good.
I kind of had a feeling. You know, when I talked to Jimmy earlier, I kind of had a feeling we're going into the mischievous room.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
we
yes.
are.
Yes,
You guys
we
are
tell
having too much fun, and I want you to stop it right now.
it, no, we tell it like it is, and we say the things that you think but are afraid to say. That's why we are number one in the world. Did you know we're twice, 2 years in a row, the number one
Web show.
web show? Yeah.
Cool.
We love
I
it.
like to brag
Congratulations.
about
So thank you so much, Bill. You like rock, and we'll
Thank
see
you,
you soon. And have
Bill.
a Merry Christmas.
Merry
Great, you
Christmas.
guys. Thanks for hanging with me. See you.
Uh-huh.
Have a Merry Christmas and a fun 21.
All righty,
Yes, and
bye-bye.
We'll see you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody.
Nice
Hope
guy,
you guys
Bill
enjoyed
is.
it. Now we're gonna bring in our next guest, Maddie Namer. Let's go, rock and roll, baby.
Hi.
Hey, oh my gosh, you look normal.
This is normal for you guys. All right.
No, last time we had you on, you had a pink wig, and so I thought maybe you were gonna have the pink wig and the skirt on today.
Last time I was on, I was at a in a mansion in New Orleans, like a wonderful kinky sex party mansion in New Orleans.
Yes, I remember, and it was awesome.
This time I'm just sitting alone in a hotel room, as there's a crazy giant snowstorm in New York City and everyone's sick, and just come a long way in a year, right?
Absolutely.
Wait, are you in New York right now?
Yeah, I'm in the city.
How much snow is there in Manhattan?
There's I was just outside a moment ago to get my daily dose of sunshine for like an hour.
How much snow is there?
There's just like little wisps so far, but I think
Starting.
tonight's gonna be like the big dumping.
Yes,
Good.
I think so too. So, everybody, now we want to welcome back to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented and super cool Maddie Namer from the FMs, fucking rock star. Hello, welcome back to the show. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. Doing this show is so much fun. This is the third time I've done it, I think.
That's right.
And we've, the first time was a few years ago.
Yes, when we lived in Pennsylvania the first time, when
Yeah.
we came and saw you guys play, actually at the Bowery, I think.
And we're still here,
Yeah.
which is remarkable. It's shocking. We're
So
still here.
Ron and I, we have a chat room filled with people. Say hi to
Yes,
everybody in
I
the chat
remember,
room.
I remember.
Hello, everyone.
Wait a minute,
Hi,
refreshing my memory. Is this the band that were banging on the garbage pails for drums?
No,
What band was that?
actually, that was Revolution.
Revolution. They didn't have a drummer. Drums. So the guy got a garbage pail and he was banging.
But it
on
was they actually played the one night together though at the Bowery, right? Didn't you guys?
with Revolution.
We met them back. They were playing. Yeah, it was freaking like awesome.
What happened? I haven't heard from Noah in a long time.
Oh, he just sent us a happy Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, by
and,
the
and I
way.
haven't heard from Olga either. Noah, Olga.
That's okay.
They're not on my Facebook page.
They don't do Facebook too much, but you can find them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, so that Matty is from the FMs. They got
FMs.
they're like rocking. So first of all, he's in New York City, and we met him in New York City.
Yep.
But one thing that you'll find is cool is he also lives in Ithaca.
Yeah, I moved to
Ithaca.
Ithaca this year.
My friend, I have a friend up there, Linda Sagan, Carl Sagan's ex-wife.
Oh,
Linda
nice.
and
Yeah,
her son
I went to Cornell and was up there.
and her son lives up there also. Josh, I think it's his name was.
No, Jimmy, I think you and I chatted about that a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, why the move from the city to Ithaca?
Cold, freezing, snowy. God, ugh. Ugh.
That's why I moved there, actually. You know, I just
Ugh, you're nuts.
I love dark, snowy places. So
Oh well, I the last time I was there was in August, and it was dark, snowy, and cold. We
yeah,
went to
no, actually, in the summertime, it's an amazing place to be. I live about 10 minutes away from about 100 waterfalls over there.
yeah, no, it is
It's
beautiful.
really cool. It's a really unique place. A lot of people kind of moved out of the city this year that were friends of mine, which is sad in itself. But I'm kind of entering a new chapter in my life where I'm kind of being Farmer Matty now, and I live.
Have animals? Do you have animals on the farm?
No, we don't really. I'm not actually a farmer, but I live in a rural area, and we do have pets and stuff. But I lived in I grew up in Greenwich Village. I lived in Greenwich Village in Brooklyn my entire life. So this is really the first time I've ever lived outside New York City, and so far I'm loving it. There's just a lot of space. It's really beautiful up there. I am building a music studio, so I'll have like a really nice music studio that I get to play around in a lot. And Ithaca is a really kind of interesting geographical place because if you look at a map, you'll see that you kind of imagine every major city in the Northeast as kind of the numbers on a clock. Ithaca would be at the center of it. So it's not more than, it's basically 3 to 6 hours from every major city in the Northeast.
We have very, very
3 to 6 hours away from like Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Pittsburgh, New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C.
good.
Less than 6 hours away from all those places. So it's a good place to base yourself for doing like regional tours and stuff too.
Yeah,
So,
that's actually
We
really
have
good.
good friends of ours.
but my main reason for moving there though was for love.
So you moved there for love. That's
I
good.
moved there for love, yeah. Which is the best reason to do anything, I think.
We absolutely like. I was with him and like I moved to Boca for love. No, we have friends who live in, where do they live? Lake Geneva.
Okay.
Which isn't that far from Ithaca because I know that we went to Ithaca from there, so it was like an hour drive or something, right? And
Maybe.
it's close to Canada, and we used to go every summer for 4th of July when we lived in Pennsylvania, and
Nice.
And it was super like cool. So like I loved the whole thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it was freaking
in
amazing.
Los Angeles too. I was kind of near y'all. I just went out there to shoot a music video with this incredible video artist. I'm really unbelievably excited about it.
You came to LA?
Yeah, I was just in LA. I just got back on Monday morning. We were working with this guy Matt Mahurin out there, who is honestly the best music video artist I've ever seen in my life. He's unbelievable, the work that he does. And the latest video that he just did was actually for Marilyn Manson. He did a song called "We Are Chaos" for him, and he does a lot of work for Tom Waits and just really a lot of really cool musicians. So it was really an amazing opportunity for us to get to work with him, and he just was really enthusiastic about the project. I think that for him, it was just a very, this song that we wrote that we're making the video for is called Song X. And it's about gender fluidity, basically, and just the whole idea of, growing up as a genderqueer person and all those subtle little pressures that society puts on you to sort of conform to the gender that you were assigned to birth. And I think that song really spoke to him, and we worked together to make this amazing thing. So I'm just really super excited about that right now.
So you have a new song too that's out called "Annihilation Denial" that you did with Miss Cherry Delight, and you brought up Marilyn Manson, and I read in her bio that she was influenced by like Marilyn Manson and the Jenner Tortures and I forgot who the other one was.
Yeah. Lot of-
And Nine Inch Nails. And so when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, I had a clothing store, and I used to go clubbing all the time when I was younger. And we used to hang out with Marilyn Manson before he was Marilyn Manson.
yeah.
You know, when he was just Brian Warner, we would all hang out at the same clubs. And then I had a clothing store, and the Genitorturers used to shop at my clothing store
Oh, really?
all the time because we had a section for fetish wear and stuff like that. And fetish parties were really, really big in Fort Lauderdale back. I don't know. I guess that's a long time, like 15 or 20 years ago. You know, they were a very popular thing.
Yeah.
And so all the cool bands like that, Nine Inch Nails didn't come in, but like Wednesday 13 and let's see, Dead Star Assembly. I don't know. All these like really cool bands would always come shopping, you know, and then they would play all the clubs around us. So I brought that up just because Miss Cherry Delight said that, and you mentioned Marilyn Manson before. But you guys have a new single called Annihilation Denial. First of all, tell us how you met Miss Cherry Delight, because like I actually like watched all her videos and listened to all her music on YouTube this week because I knew you were coming on, just because I wasn't familiar with her before you introduced me to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she's not a drag queen, but she's like a burlesque rock performer in all the clubs in New York. So you might have actually heard of her. No?
Yeah. Yeah. She kind of, comes from a burlesque sort of theater background. And she's also this incredible singer and this incredible musician and this incredible lyricist and this incredible performer. So we were really lucky to get to work with her. We've become very close friends. We met actually at a concert that she was doing burlesque at and the FMs were performing at in the city. And we just really hit it off. You know, I walked up to her afterwards and I said, hey, you seem like you were really having a lot of fun in the audience. Would you like a free t-shirt? And then we just became like really good friends ever since, you know? So that's sort of how that happened.
So you guys, they have a new video. It's called Annihilation Denial. It's a single and a video. You can find out more about it if you go to the, what is it? The FMsmusic.com?
Yeah, that's our website.
FM's Music on. You can just Google it on. You can Google it on YouTube, and you can watch it. It's a very politically charged single about climate change denial, which some people think that's a real thing, and some people don't. But it's a very encapsulating video that I think everybody will like. Whether you believe it or not, the video is freaking like awesome, and I think people will really like it.
I think on a deeper level, the song is about the psychology of humanity addressing, this problem that's going to be, on apocalyptic scale, but in like 30 years from now, right? Like, and just like, how do we grapple, as humanity with problems like that aren't today's problems necessarily, although climate change are today's problems in a lot of ways, but they're really, really going to be such massive problems, the longer we drag this out for, and 30 years from right now, the projections are that like New York City, Mumbai, all these coastal cities are going to be completely underwater, and just, we have all kinds of today's problems, like Trump trying to take over our freaking democracy and trying to basically, stage a coup. I mean, he's trying to stage a coup.
Keep the politics out.
Keep the fucked up things, right? But
we got to keep the politics out of it, though, because we don't do politics. Climate change is different, but let's not do Trump or Biden things because we get in a lot of trouble. Either way, it doesn't matter who says what. We always get fucked.
Well, the point that I'm trying to make is that basically, whatever. That's just my opinion, But the point is that we have problems that we're really focused on that are today's current event problems. And so what the song is really about is just about our basically our procrastination as a society, with dealing with tomorrow's problems. And so that's on a deeper level what this song is about, and it kind of goes back to our roots a little bit. I think, we were talking a little bit about the industrial world, and I kind of grew up listening to a lot of that stuff. I idolized people like Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails, and that whole world, that whole universe of industrial stuff. And I think as a band, we started to kind of move away from it a little bit. We sort of started, saying like, all right, that's a great thing, whatever. But I think that we want to be kind of beyond that a little bit. We want to be, a little bit like more, with the pulse of things that are going on today, and not sort of like only fully immersed in that world. But this song kind of brings us back to that. This is probably our fastest, heaviest song
I love it.
we've ever released, and definitely our angriest song that we've ever released. So it's
I wanna-
a little bit going back to our roots, and it was just amazing to get to work with Cherry on it too.
I love it. Everybody needs to listen to it. I want to remind Ron too something. First of all, you don't get to because Ron was so excited when we thought we were going to do a party on your boat. And so like this is the guy just to make sure you remember, Ron. They did the ferry boat concert series, kink parties with fire performance and burlesque and hook suspensions and all that shit. So is that's I know with COVID you can't do that. Is that something that will come back in the future, or is that something kind of like that was another before this development of how you guys have moved
Everybody
forward?
we spoke to said it was a sex boat. That people were on that boat having sex, and I said, "Really?"
Boat, love boat.
You have to go on a boat to have sex on the East River. You could just cruise the edge of East River. It's so cruisy there. I mean, you don't need a boat.
I don't know. I don't know if you cruised the East River in a long time. Maybe it used to be like that a little bit, but the city's gotten so gentrified, and unfortunately, I don't think enough people have sex on the edges of the East River anymore. It's just a sad fact of New York City.
It's rumored. I never partook. I lived on Long Island.
You gotta we should also give a shout out to Miss Cherry Delight, because hopefully they'll listen to this, and Frankie Rex.
Yeah.
Because we met Frankie at the Bowery Electric. Is that what that place was called? The Bowery Electric or the Bowery or something?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that?
Bowery Electric.
Yeah, Bowery Electric. We kind of miss some of that fun stuff, that New York City stuff, living here in California, because we're like in the desert, and
We miss our friends mostly.
yeah, we miss seeing like Eileen and Billy Hess and all the people that we met actually by going to your show. That's how we all became friends.
I
Going to those shows.
Ike Avelli and Tim Moss and the rest of those crazy bastards.
I love it.
Just to answer your question from before, we were able to do that whole series on the boat, which was it's such an amazing thing. We kind of like combined live music with fetish parties, and we had like a dungeon in the bottom of the boat that we were, hosting people to play with one another and connect with one another in that sort of way, and just really kind of trying to like be this kind of cultural magnet of if you will, and I think that it. I don't know if that party necessarily will come back, but I think that it's really kind of cool as an artist sometimes to just like create your own way, to really form your own community, really form your own culture, and movement, if you will. It's kind of boring and shitty sometimes to just have to kind of like play by the rules and just go to these like set places and play these set stages and things, and I just really want to be able to sometimes
Do whatever you want to do.
I highly
You're not the first to have sex on barges. Cleopatra did that way before you.
Freaking Cleopatra. Okay, so then you moved to Ithaca for love. Does the love that you moved for totally like dig the music and all the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really lucky that I have very supportive partners. I'm in a triad with two other wonderful people.
I remember that you told us that when you were at the kink party, I think, before, didn't you, or no?
Well, I've always been polyamorous, but I think probably when these partners and I have been in a committed relationship for about 1.5 years. So I think that may have been before.
It was very okay. No, I think you were on like a year. Anyway, because I already knew that.
Why don't you not clean? Why don't you clear that up for the squares that are listening? If they're
Tell us what
squares?
polyamorous is for the people in the chat room.
They don't know what it is.
Half of them do, and half of them are putting funny faces.
They don't get it. They don't know what it is. So give it to us.
Polyamory is just very simply being somebody who's predisposed towards having more than one partner or more than one romantic love in your life. I think that, for me, I think the definition is even more open-ended than that. It's just people who don't just default to monogamy, to just assume that there's, the way that you go about
we understand.
romance in your life is just with one person, and that's that.
In my day, that was called you're a hoa. Nowadays, it's what is it called?
Polyamorous.
Polyamorous.
Yeah, but it's
okay.
actually it's still.
When I was young, I was very polyamorous.
No.
But that's different, because there's all kinds of different relationships. So you might be somebody that likes to be promiscuous with a lot of people sexually, but in my case, I'm in a loving, committed relationship with 2 other people.
So you guys, it's just the 3 of you instead of the 2 of you. Instead of being with 1 person, you're with 2 people, and
You're like the Quakers.
Yeah, and
The
one of my 2 partners also has an additional partner. So there's kind of 3 of us, sometimes 4 of us.
Oh wow!
So when you meet, you sing "Hail, Hail, the gang's all here." What the right? No, it sounds good.
Actually, yeah. That song in particular. Yep.
Listen, everybody has a right to what makes them happy, and no one should judge it or discuss it in a bad way. We're all equal. We all have our opinions and our choices and our wants and our likes, and we respect yours also.
And how did you how did you meet them? You met them in New York?
Met them at a festival, actually.
And so were they already living in Ithaca, or they were in New York and you guys all moved to Ithaca together?
They were already in Ithaca.
Okay. How cool.
Well, if I met Jason Statham, and if I met George Clooney, and if I met a few others, I could be in a relationship like that too.
He probably doesn't know who Jason.
You don't know who Jason Statham is?
As long as you and Jimmy are happy about it, then
Well,
I wouldn't be happy, but
I just picked out 3 of the hunkiest guys in the world.
for you, the hunkiest, not for me.
No, hey.
Who are the hunkiest for you?
Everybody in the room. Would you agree with
me? Who do you want to be polyamorous with?
Oh, I don't want to be polyamorous or anything, but my favorite people
He's
are
been polyamorous all his life. He just had to cut it out when he married.
No, that's not true.
He was the big whore.
I was a big whore. But now I'm not poly anything. I'm monogamous. But I do. You know what?
Now he's browbeat.
I like older guys, so like they would have to be.
So what do you do?
By the way, there's nothing wrong with being a whore too. I have a lot of friends that are sex workers and really enjoy their profession, and
we know a lot of them too. Actually, we actually had Seika on the show one time, and she made us an awesome ringtone.
And unfortunately, I had many friends that were very promiscuous, and they're all gone due to AIDS. So
yeah.
So please play safely.
Yeah, play safely, folks. Yeah. Remember, AIDS is not cured.
So let's go back to the FMs, you guys. So the new single, the name is Annihilation Denial. The video is the FM. It's the FMs and Miss Cherry Delight. The video is freaking awesome. It's really, really cool. You can follow the FMs on Twitter at the FMs Music. What about do you do like Instagram and all those other things?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you're the FM's music everywhere?
Sometimes it's the FM, sometimes it's the FM's music. So on Instagram, we're actually just the FMs.
The FMs. Oh, Goddess joined us too. Hey, Goddess.
Hey, baby, how are you?
There you go. Also, then you guys, you can go to. This is something I have never actually done. So I went all through your website today, knowing that you were coming on the show. You can go on to the fmsmusic.com and click shop, and they have these awesome ass t-shirts. They have like condoms t-shirts and tampons t-shirts, and it's awesome. It's so freaking awesome. It's like a tampon with the string hanging down. It's like freaking like awesome. And then they have another one, and it's a bunch of condoms like all opened and unrolled, like hanging down, and they have t-shirts and like sweatshirts and tank tops and all kinds of shit. And it is, I mean, if you want like
holiday gifts,
if you need a holiday gift, you need to go to the fms.com, fmsmusic.com, and hit the shop button. First of all, if you want something that's going to like just be cool, like a conversation piece, if you're going, I mean, I wouldn't wear it to like your mom's house, but if you're going to like go into a concert or a party or something and you wear like, you know, a t-shirt with like a tampon hanging down with a string. It's like way cool.
Please, you should talk.
Well, I want to tell you guys.
Hang on. When Jimmy Star did clothing, he had a lot of the clothing in the warehouse, and I went to pick out clothes. And what did I see? Fuck you t-shirts Eat Me t-shirts. I have a big dick t-shirts. You had to see the most disgusting shit he had all over his
Gay
t-shirt.
for pay. I
Gay for-
had.
and they sold like crazy.
So these are like a whole different vibe essentially, but these shirts are really great too, because so first of all the profits from all of that merch is going to the Black Trans Travel Fund. So it's actually all the proceeds from that is going to charity. And it's a special campaign that we worked with this amazing artist, Star Callahan, who's a really young artist that we met in New York City. She is also a POC person, a trans person. And we, just like had this amazing collaboration with her, and like I really, if you're looking for a really cool, oh, one other thing about them, it's all organic, all organically made stuff too. So if you're looking for a really great holiday gift, it's really good stuff to get right now. We're really hoping to sell some more of those.
Many, many millions of years ago, I met the first trans girl. Pat Michaels was her name. And she had a big stamp. And in Manhattan, she'd stamp on every corner, Pat Michaels was here, Pat Michaels was here. Now, one night we're leaving Uptown, going down the Village to a gay bar. A whole bunch of us in a cab. And she got in the cab, and the guy said, "Hey, you're a cute drag queen." Well, she went nuts. She said, "I'm not a drag queen, I'm a woman." He said, "No, you're not, you're a man." He said, "No, I'm not, I'm a woman." Well, he proceeded to spread his legs, pull his panties down, and say, "Look, I'm really a woman." We almost hit a pole. The cab driver went, "Hey, I'm serious." The cab driver didn't know what to say. He said, "Oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry." She said, "It's okay. Just don't ever say it again. Know a lady when you see one." And that was Pat Michaels. Unfortunately, for some reason, she took her life. I don't know why. I understand that after she became a woman, she didn't want to be a woman. She became a lesbian. I don't understand that either. But something flipped out in her head. She just wanted to be gay. Not She didn't want to be straight. And being a woman, she was straight. I talk for trannies. I shouldn't say trans. I'm allowed to say trannies. Straight people can't. But I speak up for trannies because I have so many tranny friends. Gorgeous too. I mean, beautiful.
It's that's a really sad story, but I feel like it's one good thing about what's sort of happening in our culture right now is that we're recognizing that, gender identity is a spectrum, right? And so it's not like, oh, okay, you're either a boy or a girl, or you're a girl that wants to be a boy or a boy that wants to be a girl. You really can be anything you want to identify as yourself. There's not like a category of something that you have to be or not be. And sexual orientation is the same way, right? And whether you're predisposed to love just one partner or many partners is another,
it's everybody's choice.
People are starting to realize now that there's options. You don't have to be one thing or another thing, and it's hard to figure out your own sexuality sometimes when you know that you're divergent from what the norm is. And for many of us, myself included, we've had a journey throughout our lives to kind of figure it out. And I've just had so many steps along the way in that process. And maybe I'm still figuring it out.
How old are you? How old are you, if you don't mind saying?
34.
34. How'd you like to be 80 like me and live in 1955 when, if they suspected you were gay, you were put in jail, beaten up by most, hated.
Actually, that happened.
Called horrible names, treated like a third-class citizen. It was hell then. Today, it's wonderful. Everybody can be who they are. Look at me on television now saying I'm gay. Years ago, they would have kicked us off the air. We are the first gay
married. They would have kicked you off too, Maddie.
Wait a minute. I have to.
They would have burned me at the stake.
I want to brag.
Yes.
I want to brag about us. Jimmy Star and I were the first gay married couple 10 years ago to come on television and not be kicked off.
And be vocal about it.
And be vocal about it because people liked us. And people saw us and they said, these gay people are nice people. They're not demons, and they're not going to rob our 3-year-old kids and screw them. And those ideas are going away. We're starting to really get smart and know that everybody has a right to be who they want.
So first of all, I want to tell you too, because we only have a minute. In the chat room, they're all saying that they think you have great compassion and they love the story and everything that you're saying.
Absolutely.
So you guys also then please support. So Matt's band, they're an indie band. Please support the band. Check out thefmsmusic.com if you want to buy any cool art t-shirts or anything else that they've got, and just support them in social media.
Wait, you must have a condom, not a condom. I like the other one better.
The tampon.
The tampon t-shirt.
And support the band. The name of the song is Annihilation Denial. Go on YouTube, Google DFM's Music Annihilation Denial. You can also put Miss Cherry Delight, and you can see the video. It's really, really an impressive video.
How old is Cherry?
Thanks so much for having us on. And Ron, I just want to, say that us young queers, we owe people like you a debt of gratitude. You paid.
You're standing on our shoulder.
All of us, You're standing. We are. Absolutely.
We made it good for you. We fought like hell.
We did.
I fought all my life. I fought alongside my black friends.
We gotta go.
Anyway, Cherry Delight, is she older and played in the Village a lot years ago?
She's the same age as me.
Oh no,
it'll be a different one.
It must be
so you guys,
there was a drag queen whose name was Cherry Delight.
Check out Annihilation Denial. You guys go to the fmsmusic.com. Maddie, congratulations on the new single. Congratulations, really, on your whole life and your life choices. I hope everything is perfect for you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful, fabulous, snowy-filled Christmas.
Yes,
thank you. You too.
And I want to teach you.
We won't have the snow part.
And I want to teach you something. If you don't like me and what I do, go fuck yourself.
I like you, Ron.
No,
he's saying that for you too. For anybody.
I'm teaching it to you. You walk proud. I walk proud. People say, "Oh, you walk like a queer." I say, "Fuck you," and I keep walking. I'm a star. Get out of my way. Who are you? You
just like
nothing.
You, Maddie. All right, you guys.
You're nothing. I'm a star. Get out of my way.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Maddie.
Bye-bye.
Good seeing you again.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Next week's our Christmas show. We've got great celebrity lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next week. Chat room, thanks for being so wonderful, and everybody have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy.
Bye, everybody.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. So come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.